Welcome to the main news. I'm Justin Matlatla. Susan Masona joins us at the sign language desk.
A very good evening. I'm Joyce Mabika. Later on, we'll be joined by Marilyn Gwenya from our Montreal studios in Bulawayo. For now, let's take a look at our leading stories.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa in Kenya to attend East African Community and SADC co-chairs summit on DRC peace process.
Treasury maintains the country's recovery and growth measures in the 2025 midterm budget review.
In other news, drowning of 2 women at Nyaure River in Bindura ignites debate on Manjuzu rituals.
We'll also give you the latest in sport. For now, we give you our leading story.
SADC chairperson President Emmerson Mnangagwa is in Nairobi, Kenya, ahead of this Friday's joint East African Community and SADC co-chairs summit on the DRC peace process. The details.
The summit set for this Friday will also serve as a briefing session with the panel of facilitators for the peace process and is also expected to attract chairperson of the African Union Commission and executive secretaries of the EAC and SADC. It is also expected to reinforce collaboration and promote coherence in regional efforts aimed at restoring peace and security in Eastern DRC. President Mnangagwa was seen off at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport by Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, Defense Minister Honorable Opamchinguri Kashiri, the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazembe Kazembe, Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, sales chiefs and senior government officials.
Meanwhile, the SADC chairperson, President Mnangagwa, arrived in Nairobi this Thursday evening for a crucial meeting to take place tomorrow between the two regional blocs, that is the EAC and SADC. They will be discussing how to implement peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo. SADC Executive Secretary Mr. Elias Mahosi said with the SADC mission expected to pull out of DRC anytime now, the new team of facilitators made up of former heads of state is expected to take root.
The situation still remains where it was. Remember, Summit DRC was terminated and we've been exiting DRC as a mission. That process is coming to a close. We just finished our meeting of the Ministerial Committee of the organ, where the update was provided that indeed the withdrawal of the mission is actually coming to a close. And the expectation is that beyond this process will now take root. We believe, all of us, our interest is that we find peace and we assist to find peace in the DRC. So that's where we are right now, and we're hopeful that this exercise that we are doing, the joint EAC SADC together with the African Union, will then cement the facilitation or the engagement process of the facilitators together with the country that is the mediating country. I understand there's a new country now, Togo, which took over from Angola.
Mr. Mahosi said the coming together of the EAC and SADC will enable them to reflect on what can be done differently to ensure peace is attained in the DRC.
We trust that solutions should be found. You must first understand that the EAC and SADC, when they came together, they were drawing lessons from the 30 plus years of trying to find solutions and not much taking place, including the role that MONUSCO played in the last 20 years. So it was really to learn from those past frameworks, instruments, engagements, and to say, what is it that we can do differently? And that's why the two RECs came together and say, can we create something new? And the recognition was that we need to bring the Nairobi and Luanda process together, because when they are coming together, perhaps we can get better results out of that. So we can only say to the citizens of the DRC as well as the region that we hope this time around, when we are driving this process and bringing all these facilitators to engage with all stakeholders. You must also understand that the joint summit also said all stakeholders should be engaged so that we find solution that embraces everybody else.
The volatile situation in the DRC remains a cause for concern on the African continent, and as SADC chairperson President Mnangagwa and his EAC counterpart President William Ruto meet, they will be discussing the way forward.
The Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthuli Ncube, has delivered the 2025 midterm budget review statement, maintaining Zimbabwe's recovery and growth measures while pronouncing plans to ease the cost of doing business.
Reviewing the over 270 billion ZiG national budget at the Parliament building in Mount Hampden this Thursday, Professor Ncube reiterated the need to maintain the growth mode driven by stable economic conditions in the first 6 months.
Given the positive economic development during the period January to June, we are confident that the projected economic growth of 6% alluded to in 2025 national budget is achievable. And again on that screen, Madam Speaker, we show the final figure at the bottom of 6%, but then also show the various sectors that contribute to that growth. Notice that the bulk of this growth is really coming from recovery in the agricultural sector, which has recovered from a growth rate of minus 18.1% in 2024, and this year it should be up to positive 21.5%. Of course, the other sectors are all showing positive growth, but that's the sector that is contributing the most due to its spectacular recovery.
Treasury is also forging ahead with the ease of doing business reforms.
The issue of the cost of doing business. During the second half of the year, government will be seized with the implementation of the doing business reforms aimed at reducing cost and enhancing competitiveness. Meanwhile, government has with immediate effect begun the process of reviewing various regulatory fees and charges. In addition, the number of bureaucratic steps and compliance requirements will be drastically reduced, and we'll be making announcements as we go along sector by sector. And we want to begin with the agricultural sector with announcement in the next week or two.
Minister Ncube emphasized that the importance of policy consistency for the country to attain economic growth.
The performance of the economy in the budget during the first half of the year was within the approved levels by Parliament. The macro-fiscal framework underpinning the approved 2025 national budget remains relevant and still supports the targeted project and programs. To ensure that the fiscal policy is complementary to monetary policy in order to sustain the prevailing price and exchange rate stability, the government will continue to implement prudent budgeting policy stance, which ensures that all expenditures are strictly guided by the performance of revenues. This entails a continuity of the principle of living within our means.
Other takeaways from a 2025 midterm budget review include spending at over 100 billion ZiG, revenues of more than 118 billion ZiG, 35% of the budget used in the first 6 months, growth in agriculture, mining, infrastructure sectors, and stable inflation and exchange rate. Stanley James, ZBC News, Mount Hampden.
Now, the implementation of budget measures has been cited as critical to achieving the intended national development goals.
As the 2025 budget review tracked the performance of the economy in the first 6 months to identify gaps and chart the way forward, Treasury resolved to maintain the existing measures. Riding on the success in key sectors such as agriculture and mining, the achievement of set goals is now hinged on the Treasury's ability to walk the talk on its policies. Since most of the tax and revenue measures, including government spending patterns, were rolled out into the last half of the year, the journey to recover from the El Nino-induced drought of last year is also expected to be driven by continuous monitoring of the budget allocations.
The importance of implementation is to ensure that we promote the ease of doing business. We ensure that we guarantee certainty in our market and ensure that all the revenues that are supposed to be allocated to various sectors as proposed by the appropriation bill are done. And once that is done, it means that there is an even proportion of resources that ensures that our economy grows from all sectors and achieves its economic growth target.
With the Treasury Chief, Professor Mtulingobe, introducing some measures to ease the cost of doing business, beneficiaries are expected to take advantage of the initiative by increasing production.
We are going to see those reviews being implemented, and the reviews are very important, especially at a time it is confirmed by the economic census that the significant economy that was previously uncaptured, but that economy is key driver to the GDP today.
The 2025 budget review is expected to set the tone for growth at 6% from 2% last year.
The government has developed a monitoring and evaluation dashboard to strengthen accountability and transparency on development programs.
Government is taking a strong position in tracking the impact of development programs through evidence-based data, which will assist to improve efficiency, accountability, and transparency. Officially opening the inaugural Monitoring, Evaluation and Learning Week in Harare this Thursday, Vice President Kembo Mohadi noted a homegrown solution titled the Chipinge Monitoring and Evaluation Dashboard will soon be launched by President Emerson Mnangagwa before the end of this year.
My office, in partnership with the Bindura University of Science and Education, has developed a Chipinge Monitoring and Evaluation Dashboard that is based on real time and has since been adopted by government to be the main instrument to be used by all government institutions, monitoring all programs and projects under one roof. Chipinge dashboard will soon be launched by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces before the end of this year.
Vice President Mohadi noted the model of monitoring and evaluation is now a necessity.
Through monitoring, evaluation and learning, we are building a culture of accountability and adaptive learning. This campaign is not just an event, but it is a call to embed monitoring, evaluation, and learning in all aspects of national development.
The pilot monitoring and evaluation program is expected to soon expand to tracking the impact of economic programs and policies.
This system has been piloted within the social services cluster under the purview of the Honorable Vice President Mohadi, with ongoing developments now extending to the other services cluster. These efforts are focused on the integration of monitoring functions into the broader Chipinge platform, enhancing its utility across multiple sectors.
The United Nations reckons this initiative points a good direction for government development programs.
Enhanced monitoring, evaluation, and learning is fundamental and a critical requirement for equitable service delivery and sustainable development.
Through enhanced focus on monitoring, evaluation, and learning, Zimbabwe joins a pool of African countries which together form a continental movement on managing for sustainable development results. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News, Harare.
Chipinge is built to become an academic hub, recording accelerated economic growth as construction of 2 universities is shaping up in the town.
Once a small and quiet town in southeastern Zimbabwe, Chipinge is now buzzing with anticipation as 2 universities are under construction, a development set to reshape the town's economic and social landscape. Among the new institutions under construction is Gazaland State University, being spearheaded by the United Church of Christ in Zimbabwe, UCCZ, with the church revealing $20 million United States dollars will be invested into the project that is expected to enroll students in March next year.
300,000 yataita put down kuti tikwanise kuita zvataita izvi as a church, but tirikutarisira kuti we are looking at 20 million kuti nzvimbo ine inyaso kuti nzvimbo yabuda, patatarisira zvino nepokuti izvo Mwari achitiitira zvakanaka, next year by March tofana kuvhura madoors edu ekutanga kudzidzisa panapa. university yedu.
In the same area, Zayoja Forward in Faith has joined the education revolution constructing another university, with the project contractor revealing that the first phase of the project will be completed in December.
Takatanga 14 May. Zvese zviri kudiwa nemapavement zvese ni boundary wall tunotesera kupedza muna December.
Following the rolling into motion of the landmark educational developments, there is huge excitement among residents and the business community who are aware of the economic benefits that come with the new investments.
Zvandifadza nekuti vana vedu vakutodzidza padyo, vakutobva pamba vachiuya pauniversity, zvotanga tisikafungidziri kuti seChipinge tichange tine zvinhu zvakadaro.
Universities and higher and tertiary educational institutions that are being built in Chipinge, it's quite good because these are economic drivers.
It's a very great achievement. Zvekuti tinototenda in fact tinototenda waMnangagwa.
Ndikuzwa kufara nokuti chiitiko ichi chichaita kuti Chipinge chedu chikure in terms of business.
Chipinge Central Legislator Honorable Raimo Machingura says the huge developments are testimony of the success of the devolution program.
Shukuru sei toda kutenda Second Republic, kuti Second Republic yauya ne Vision 2030. President Emerson Mnangagwa akabva ataura kuti nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, uye hapana anofanira kusara mumashure kuvanhu vari muZimbabwe. Zvakuratidza kukura chaizvo.
Besides the two universities, more developments are in the pipeline, with Manicaland State University set to establish a horticulture faculty in Chipinge, while Mutare Polytechnic and Marymount Teachers College have also secured land for future expansion. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Chipinge.
The government is set to review license fees across the board as part of the ease of doing business reforms. The details.
Cabinet recently approved a downward review of license fees to ensure the ease of doing business across the board. During this Wednesday's question and answer session in the National Assembly, Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Dr. Jennifer Muswere confirmed that license fees reviews are not only limited to the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, but across various economic sectors.
ZBC, in consultation, ichitaurirana na Minister of Information, vane masimba ekureviewa price, mutengo wemarezinesi eradio netelevision. Asi musangano watakagara wecabinet, takazoita post cabinet briefing session yatinotaura nenyika yose pane madecision atinenge tapasa mucabinet. Mutungamiriri wenyika President Idi Mnangagwa vari sachigaro wecabinet vakapa directive yekuti mitengo yose nemitero nemarezinesi ari muno munyika areviewiwe, aitwe ongororo, adzikiswe. Ndiyo decision yakaitwa mudare recabinet.
A first approach will be employed in the review process, which is expected to be concluded in the next 6 months.
Tinoshandisa yatinoti whole of government approach mukuita madecision aya. Pana vanonzi Chief Secretary to the President Cabinet, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, vano leader Secretariat, Ministry of Finance and Economic Development inotungamirwa na Professor Mtulinguwe, nema line ministry ose ari muhurumende zvichisanganisira veku local government, veku transport, maministry ese achagara pasi under a whole of government approach kuti areviewe marezinesi ese emuno muhurumende anosanganisira maministry ose, madepartments nemaagency. Asi zvichaitwa ne-phased approach zvine makategori anokwana yokuita 12. Saka Ministry of Finance yaamushishi decision yakatoitwa zuro yekuti maprice areviewe. Asi ndinovimba kuti decision iyi inoita kuti gore rino iri azvitore mwedzi inopfuura mitanhatu.
The license fees review process is expected to promote investments and compliance with the law.
The government has extended its program to upgrade Liberation War shrines to regional countries. This emerged during a tour of Chimoyo Shrine in Mozambique by Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage Minister Honorable Kazembe this Thursday.
In a move to preserve Zimbabwe's liberation heritage and honor those who lost their lives during the liberation struggle, the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazembe, visited the Chimoyo Shrine in Mozambique this Wednesday, where he reviewed plans to improve the site's infrastructure. Minister Kazembe, who engaged the Lotteries and Gaming Board to give Chimoyo Shrine a major facelift, is convinced that the works will be completed ahead of the ZANU-PF National People's Conference set for Mutare in October.
Comrades who are lying here are the comrades who sacrificed their lives for us to be where we are as Zimbabweans. We should remember those, not only those who are lying here, even those who are lying in various shrines outside the country and within the country. We need to ensure that these people, this particular shrine, I would want it done before the National People's Conference, so that those who are going to come to the National People's Conference may want to come and be part of this history and may want to come and have an appreciation of what happened here. We should have the toilets, we should have water, we should have the visitors shelter. So this is one of the many steps that we are going to take as a ministry and as a government, as directed by the President, His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, that we should not leave anyone or no place behind, and we should not leave anyone out there, in particular those who fought for this country.
For the Lotteries and Gaming Board and the National Museums and Monuments of Zimbabwe, giving a facelift to Zimbabwe's shrines is a national responsibility long overdue.
Kuvimbisai kuti Lotteries and Gaming Board inokwanisa kuunganidza mari, inokwanisa kuti basa riri pano riitwe richipera nenguva diki.
Chimoyo was the biggest rear base in Mozambique. And here, quite a lot of sons of the soil perished during a erosion attack.
Zimbabwe's Consul General to Mozambique, Mr. Malvin Bere, says the high numbers of people visiting the shrine make the move to upgrade the infrastructure a vital development.
We are receiving about an average of 800 delegates every week from Zimbabwe. But the challenge now, without ablution facilities, without water, it presents some challenges.
The Chimoyo attack remains one of the darkest chapters in Zimbabwe's liberation history, where thousands of freedom fighters were massacred by the Rhodesian forces in 1977. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Chimoyo.
The Dzivarasekwa community has applauded the Zimbabwe Defence Forces ZDF for its commitment to improving livelihoods for the less privileged through the ZDF Community Assistance Week initiative.
As part of its ongoing Zimbabwe Defence Forces Community Assistance Week, the ZDF handed over a fully furnished, modernized early childhood development classroom block at Gillingham Government Primary School in Harare this Tuesday. The project was a collaborative effort between the ZDF and the school authorities, underscoring the military's commitment to supporting education and community development.
Mautedu tinakudza chaizvo tinotenda nebasa guru ravari kuita.
Tikuzwa kufara muzuva ranhasi nebhuloku rema-ECD iri zvakatinakira. Vana vedu vawana pekudzidzira, havachaita kuti vamwe vachipinda masikati, vamwe vachipinda chiva, kungopinda nguva dzakaenzana.
Speaking at the handover ceremony, Deputy Minister of Defence Honorable Levi Mahlome, who was the guest of honor, pledged ZDF commitment to assist underprivileged communities.
This, to me, is not just a slogan, but it has become the rallying call for all Zimbabweans, that when the president says nyika inowakwa nevayo, he's not talking about some people abstract out there. He's talking about me and you and everyone that is there. We are glad we are living in an era where we have a leader or leadership that realizes that everybody should partake in construction and development of the country.
Meanwhile, the Air Force of Zimbabwe Band Squadron received a major boost that will enhance its national outreach, using music to uplift and inspire underserved communities.
We are happy because the commander has made it fit, has seen it fit to include us in the community service week of the Air Force of Zimbabwe. We have also enjoyed the community service week, and also we have enjoyed the reception of these instruments.
Commander AFZA Marshal John Jacob Mtwede highlighted the significance of the ZDF Community Assistance Week.
The delivery of the equipment is timely because it comes a few weeks before the Zimbabwe Defence Forces Day celebration on the 12th of August 25. The main highlight on this day is the parade and marching displays, where the bands from the services provide the rhythm and sound to the displays. I challenge the band to use these new instruments to deliver high-quality music and showcase the talent in the Zimbabwe Defence Forces.
The ZDF Community Assistance Program continues to leave a lasting impact through construction of educational infrastructure, medical outreach initiatives, and social support across the country. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Thousands of ZANU-PF supporters converged in Epworth this Thursday for a star rally to drum up support for the party's Ward 6 candidate in by-elections slated for Saturday.
The electorate in Epworth are celebrating infrastructure projects such as roads and boreholes that have been availed by the ZANU-PF leadership. A rally held ahead of the Epworth Ward 6 by-election saw the ZANU-PF Harare provincial leadership expressing confidence of victory.
Tinoziwa mabasa akanaka aitwa na president muno, asi tinoda kuti vakuru guest of honor wedu na minister of state wedu na deputy national secretary in the politburo vanzwe kubva kumwenga wedu, vanzwe kubva kuna comrade Bushe zvaitwa na president, zvaita kuti muri yeward 6 ndimuke iuye pano nhasi.
Kupfurikidzana president wedu vaMnangagwa neurongwa hwavainawo hwepresidential internet scheme, watiri kutaura kuti hakuna munhu anofanira kusara panyaya yekuwana masaisai. Muno muward 6 tauya isusu paChinamano primary school papuwa ipo macomputers pamwe chete neStarlink.
ZANU-PF National Commissar Comrade Nyaradzi Machacha expressed confidence in the electorate, citing several projects that have been rolled out for the community as an advantage for the ruling party.
Ishungu yavaMnangagwa kuti pashaye nzvimbo inosarira mashure kana munhu anosarira mashure. Naizvozvo neEpworth hatidi kuti isarire mashure, toda kuti ibatane nemamwe matunhu munyaya dzedevelopment. Chairwoman wega wega wedistrict tichavapa 5 masewing machine kuita 25 masewing machine nekumadzimai. Pfungwa yedu yatinayo ndeyokuti madzimai aya afambe ashande vari pamwe chete, vaite kafactory kavo kuno kuEpworth, kane kachizogadzirawo mayunifomu okuti vana vese vanoenda kuchikoro muEpworth, muzvikoro zvemuEpworth vagadzirirwe uniform kuno.
The local authority seat has been under the opposition since 2000. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
For these and more stories in greater detail, do visit our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw, and you can also link up with us on various social media platforms. We are ZBC News Online.
And now still to come in this bulletin. Drowning of 2 women at Nyaure River in Bindura ignites debate on Manjuzu rituals. We'll also give you an update on the latest in sport. Stay tuned, we'll be back.
Unearthing the hidden. In-depth analysis. 24 investigates, shines the light in the dark corners affecting our society. We go in-depth to tell the complete story. 24 investigates, dedicated to promoting accurate, factual and accountable news reportage. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The fifth ordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament, PAP, has concluded in Midrand, South Africa, after 2 weeks of deliberations that centered on critical issues facing the African continent. Our reporter, John Nandara, spoke with PAP President Chief Fortune Charumbira on the outcomes of the session.
Chief Charumbira, as a point of departure, what were the major key areas of focus that the Pan-African Parliament was deliberating for the past 2 weeks?
For the past 2 weeks, we held, first of all, a retreat with the Peace and Security Council from Addis Ababa, which is composed of ambassadors. We then looked during debates the issue of reparations, compensation, resulting from the loss and the damage that Africans suffered during colonialism, during slavery.
One of the hot topics was the African Continental Free Trade Area. What was the position of the Pan-African Parliament in terms of ensuring member states align their laws in line with the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area?
Through trade, through the mechanism of the African continental trade, economies are likely to expand by 32%, and we as PAP are pushing that agenda. We are also facilitating and ensuring that our countries on the continent of Africa align their laws. The various 55 parliaments on the continent have to align their laws in order to support the AfCFTA, that we have more trade among ourselves on the continent, and that will boost our economies.
What is the position of the Pan-African Parliament in terms of maintaining peace and security across the continent?
One of the key issues was the side of the parliamentary diplomacy was left behind a bit. We now need to corroborate so that peacemaking is not just for the executive, but also the parliament. Peace negotiations have not involved the grassroots people that actually live with that conflict. So through parliaments and through members of parliament who represent the people who are suffering from the conflict, we believe we could be more alert to conflicts and deal with the critical root causes.
The Pan-African Parliament has developed a model law on agenda. You might want to shed more light on that.
This model law was debated. It has been passed. We believe most of the aspirations that emerged at the Beijing conference in 1995. We believe this may be realized through our model law, which we share with all the countries on the continent.
Thank you very much, Chief Charumbira.
Well, we now cross over to Marilyn Ngwenya, who is at our Montreal studios in Bulawayo. It's a good evening to you, Marilyn.
Good evening and many thanks to you, Justin. In our following report, the curtain has come down on the 15th Conference of the Parties to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands with strong resolutions aimed at putting young people and indigenous knowledge systems at the center of wetland management.
After 9 days of intense deliberations, COP15 ended in Victoria Falls this Thursday with a resounding message. The future of wetlands conservation lies in embracing both traditional wisdom and the voices of the next generation. In a landmark resolution, delegates agreed to integrate youths and indigenous knowledge systems in wetland restoration and management strategies, signaling a move towards a more inclusive and culturally responsive conservation efforts.
One of the most exciting resolution, bearing in mind that we are protecting wetlands for our common future, was a resolution to include youth in wetlands restoration, sustainable use and management. There was also a resolution that spoke about the importance of the input from indigenous people and local communities, the utilization of their traditional knowledge systems, combined, of course, with the scientific approach in terms of wetlands management.
Ramsar President Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu, who is also Zimbabwe's Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, outlined the next steps to ensure resolutions made at the conference are fully implemented.
The implementation side, we've got a committee that helps me. The committee is meeting currently. It is working on the way forward, how we're going to work together. I'm looking forward to them making sure that they go back to their countries, look at their policies and look at the resolutions that we came up with here, and then make sure that they amend, whether it's legislation or policies, they amend to incorporate this, the resolutions that we made here for ease of implement. I expect the same here in the country.
Held in the majestic wetland city of Victoria Falls, COP15 brought together representatives from 172 member states along with scientists, environmentalists and local community members to confront the escalating threats to wetland posed by climate change and unsustainable development. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
With momentum building around innovation hubs and heritage-based curricula, Scholastica 2025 has set the tone for Zimbabwe to reimagine education as a driver of inclusive and sustainable industrial transformation.
The pressing need to bridge the gap between education and industry through heritage-based learning and innovation was the overarching theme at this 16th Alone Scholastica conference held in Bulawayo this Thursday. For many students in attendance at the conference in Bulawayo, the event offered a rare opportunity to engage with both policymakers and industry experts shaping Zimbabwe's development trajectory.
We need to slot in heritage into our educational system so that we don't want to rely on the likes of look-west laws, but we have to look into what really defines us as Zimbabweans.
We also need to involve culture and in terms of innovation and technology.
Chinese ambassador to Zimbabwe is Alan Zhao Ding shared insights on China's successful transition from an agrarian to an industrial powerhouse through deliberate alignment of its education system with national industrial goals.
China integrates education, science and technology and talent as the foundational support for modernization. We prioritize self-reliance and self-strengthening, focusing on cultivating high-quality, homegrown talent and accelerating breakthroughs in core technologies.
The conference did not shy away from confronting Zimbabwe's current challenges, particularly the persistent skills mismatch between what educational institutions produce and what industry requires.
If we continue to lag behind,
We will continue to be the producers of manual labor for others. We will continue to be the producers of primary products for other economies. Our minerals will continue to go out and be processed into wares that will be sold back to us at a very high level. We have to take this very seriously and make sure that we are in the game as far as innovation is concerned, as far as the development of skills and competencies are concerned.
By fusing indigenous knowledge systems with modern technology, Zimbabwe seeks to craft solutions tailored to its context, ensuring no one is left behind and the country's journey towards inclusive growth and prosperity. Yolande Moy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The drowning of 2 women who were performing Manjuzu rituals at Nyaure River in Bindura on Monday has shocked the community and invoked the anger of traditional leaders. The said incident, orchestrated by a self-styled prophet, has also ignited debate about the existence of mermaid spirits, popularly referred to as Manjuzu.
A sojourn by 5 young women in the wilderness of Bindura in the Chief Masembura area ended in tragedy after 2 of them drowned. The self-styled prophet who was leading them explains what happened.
Ndakabuda nevanhu vandakabuda navo tichinovaka kumuteuro kumadziva. Tavakumbirira kumadziva. Vanhu vonge vane nhau dzavo, saka tiri pakati pekuvakumbirira kumadziva. Pakaitika chiitiko chakaitika chekubvutirwa umwe wedu tiri mumvura. Abvutwa tiri mumvura ndokubva isusu tapinda dambudziko rekupinda zvekare mumvura tiri pakuda kubatsiridza kusvika umwe wedu apararira mumvura.
The said development has angered traditional leaders in the Chief Masembura area, and headman Mutandiri says people should not play with water bodies.
Takazvibvunza nezuro pandakasvikapo tichiti papa chinyatsoitwa nezvei madzibaba iwayawo sekuru ivava vakatsanangura kuti vakauya nerice, vakauya nemaswitsi nemabhiskitsi nedoro ravakanga vainaro ravaida kushandisa mumvura umu vachipira mudzimu. Ivo vaiti vari kuda kusvitsa mudzimu wenjuzu kune uyu nyakufa akatanga kufa nezuro. Hatina kumbobvira tanzwa history yekuti makamboita njuzu, asi zvinhu zvepasi zvinonetsa kuti uzvirambe kana kuti uzvitambire, nekuti dzimwe nguva paunopinda mumvura apa pane vepasi vanofambawo zvakare mumvura.
Manjuzu or mermaid spirits have become a hit among young women who believe that if you are born with this spirit or nurture such spirits, you can become rich or famous. But do Manjuzu really exist?
Chinonzi njuzu vamwe vangozora mafuta wakatsvuka vakuti tine manjuzu. Zvakare chinonzi njuzu muchinge masvika panzvimbo kumbirirai chivanhu uye makumbira chivanhu chizere, varidzi venzvimbo wokutambirai zvakanaka. Vakuru vedu vaitosvika pasi pemvura vachitonotaura kana pamusoro pemvura, vachienda pasi pemiti vachikumbirira nedoro nezviyo. Imo mukati menzvimbo yemvura tinoenda nedoro, toenda nezviwiti kana kuti zvigurugudu. Kana ndichiti zvigurugudu ndikuti mabhisikesi. Uye zvakare tinodira pasi mawaini. Mhepo inofanira kuvhuvhuta muri panzvimbo. Kuvhuvhuta kwemhepo zvero nematambirwa nevaridzi vemvura kana kuti nemasvikiro emunzvimbo.
Pane manjuzu kozita manjuzu ekutengera. Vane manjuzu ekutengera vanoita zveshe zvekuti vanotoenda kunobikwa nemishonga. Ivavo ndo vamwe vanozoshanda vari kubandiko rekusatanism. Kozita vamwe vane manjuzu chaiwo. Vane manjuzu chaiwo, manjuzu aya ari patatu. Kune manjuzu enhope, mandu atinoshidza chiti machembere enhope, anomirire kuti vanoenda vachinoroteswa mishonga, then ivavo vanozoenda kumadziva ndokutoraya mishonga yavo. Kozita vamwe vanoti vane manjuzu eusha yechipfambi, ndemamwe akazvimirira ari bandiko rawo. Kozitawo mamwe manjuzu anenge akazvimirira kuti anenge ari chishava.
Ndakaenda kumvura ini ndisina manjuzu chaiwo, amufe makayanana nedziva iroro.
What is evident is that Manjuzu do exist, but like any religion or spiritual field, the world of marriage is difficult to understand. As with Christianity, the proliferation of fake prophets exists in African traditional religion, thus calling on traditionalists to be vigilant in safeguarding their culture. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Pindura.
And that report takes us back to Pocket Hill Studios in Harare, where Justin is on standby. Justin, it's over to you.
Many thanks there, Marilyn, and our team at our Montrose studios. Welcome back to our Pocket Hill Studios. Zimbabwe has reaffirmed its commitment to good governance, accountability, and transformative public service, while acknowledging the valuable lessons drawn from Kenya through the African peer review mechanism process.
The 5-member Zimbabwe African Peer Review Mechanism, a PRM delegation, which is in Kenya for a benchmarking mission, attended the 2nd National Summit of Country Peer Review Mechanism held at Kenyatta Convention International Center in Nairobi, where the head of the delegation, Ambassador James Manzou, delivered an address acknowledging how the benchmarking exercise has been fruitful. He noted that the exercise has amplified the strength of peer learning and African solidarity. The delegation also visited Makueni County for a familiarization tour this Thursday. The team was received by Makueni Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Lucy Mlili, at Makueni County government offices, where they discussed how to decentralize the peer review mechanism to the subnational levels. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News.
The main news will take a break now. Join us for business news when we return.
Unearthing the hidden. In-depth analysis. 24 investigates, shines the light in the dark corners affecting our society. We go in-depth to tell the complete story. 24 investigates, dedicated to promoting accurate, factual, and accountable news reportage. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Welcome back. The government is rolling out an environmental, social and governance ESG compliance roadmap amid efforts to promote environmental stewardship, social responsibility and good corporate governance among industry players.
It emerged during the Environmental, Social and Governance ESG reporting workshop that Zimbabwe's industry players need to comply with the global standards in protecting the environment in areas they operate in.
As we are becoming more productive in manufacturing and mining, we need to make sure that we safeguard our environment. This has many benefits. Number one, the environment that we save today is for tomorrow's generation. So we're doing it for our kids and for our grandkids. These are international and global standards, which means that the more compliant we are, the more financing we can unlock. So we need to have a holistic view on ESG, both reporting and compliance.
Social responsibility is also an important element of the ESG reporting standards.
We talk about how we treat employees, how we establish strategies for support them into their safety, health, their technical development. We talk about how we generate positive impact on community and how we mitigate negative impact also. And one thing that is very important, that is transversal to ESG, is how we establish all these processes, how we transpose all these parameters to our suppliers.
The rolling out of the ESG guidelines comes at a time when listed companies are being directed to disclose social responsibility systems, adaptation to green economy, and directors' packages within their audited financial accounts. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
And now to the arts, where the 2025 Zimbabwe International Book Fair has kicked off in Bulawayo, offering students a platform to explore a wide range of genres and topics that can broaden their literary knowledge and spark new interests.
Students from various schools have flocked to the Zimbabwe International Book Fair ZIBF, currently running under the theme Reconnect Book Festival 2025 in Bulawayo, where they are taking advantage of the exciting opportunity to explore diverse genres, discover new authors, and improve their comprehension skills.
I think it's an opportunity for you to develop what reading you like doing. Maybe you like fiction, maybe you like something more practical like history.
Times reading is taken as something that is not significant for the authors and all that, but trust me, for me as a student, this is a significant point or a significant turn.
Our Kendo teaches us how to revise. It gives us visual textbooks that we can download when there is no electricity or when you are offline.
Discovering amavuku achiyeneyo ngendima ezitshiyeneyo njalo yasinceda ukuthi lalabo abangathandi ukubala bethule interest.
Director in the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, Mr. Lawrence Mkwala, believes the book fair helps students cultivate a reading culture.
Them coming here, they will also be sort of encouraged. It's a way of strengthening their skills and also valuing the importance of those writers who are in school. But at the same time, also, it will be a way of cultivating a reading culture within our areas.
ZIBF is one of Africa's premier book and publishing trade fairs and has been running in the country since 1983.
We take a break. We'll be back with sport. Stay with us.
Unearthing the hidden. In-depth analysis. 24 investigates, shines the light in the dark corners affecting our society. We go in-depth to tell the complete story. 24 investigates, dedicated to promoting accurate, factual and accountable news reportage. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Welcome back. It's now time for sport. Zimbabwe put up a commendable bowling performance. However, their batting once again left a lot to be desired as they ended day 2 of the first test, trailing New Zealand by 127 runs at Queen's Sports Club this Thursday.
The Black Caps seized control of the test on the first day, dismissing the host of 149 runs before closing the day without losing any wickets. On the second day, Blessing Masakadza provided the early breakthrough with a wicket of Will Young. Sikandar Raza then accounted for the scarp of Rachin Ravindra, while Blessing Mzarabani took the wicket of Henry Nichols for 34. After lunch, Tanaka Chivanga struck early, dismissing Devon Conway for 88. Zimbabwe pulled things back well in the second session, taking 4 wickets for 80 runs. New Zealand finished their first innings on 307 with a lead of 158 runs. The Chevrons came in to bait the last few overs of the day. However, they could not hold their own, losing 2 crucial wickets of Ben Curran and Brian Burnett, ending the day in 31 for 2, still trailing the visitors' first innings total by 127 runs. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
In staying with cricket, the Zimbabwe under-19 men's cricket team is seeking a change of fortunes when they face Bangladesh in a youth one-day international set for Harare Sports Club this Friday.
It has not been looking well for the hosts as they are yet to win a match in the triangular series against South Africa and Bangladesh. In their first match, Zimbabwe went down by 278 runs against South Africa, followed by a 91-run loss to Bangladesh in their second match. They lost again to South Africa by 107 runs despite a strong partnership by Michael Bicknett and Simbarashi Madzengerere. The young Chevrons will be seeking their first win this Friday as they take on the Asians. The tournament will run until the 10th of August, and the Tri-Series is a crucial roadmap for the Zimbabwe youth side to prepare for the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup in 2026. Zimbabwe will host the 16th edition of the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup 2026 together with the neighbours Namibia. Anna Shimrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
We now shift our attention to football, where defending champions Simba Bora are looking to bounce back to winning ways when they face Chipinge in a crucial Kasolaga Premier Soccer League Match Day 24 encounter at Wazanai Stadium this Saturday.
The Gobuja boys dropped points in their past 2 games, losing 2-0 to Manika Diamonds and sharing spoils with Tel 1 in a 1-0 draw. The slip-up has put pressure on the defending champions, who now lead second place Scotland by just a point. Currently top of the table with 44 points, Simba Bora need to rediscover their top form, and coach Joel Patla is expecting to collect maximum points against Chipinge.
Coming up versus Chipinge, it's a very difficult game. They are also fighting to survive, and now that Scotland and also Moss and Platinum, they are closing the gap on us. It gives us a little bit of push, but pressure brings out the best, and I believe that I've got the good boys to do that, and we are going to fight up until the last day of the season.
In their reverse fixture, Simba Bora won 1-0 and will be hoping to complete a double over their opponents come Saturday. Anna Shimrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
And on that note, we have come to the end of this edition of the Main News. Thank you for having been part of this broadcast. From all of us here, say good night.
Good night.